Thank you for listening to Pal Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Power Block here on Boss Rush Network. We are in the building. I'm your host, the enlightened, excited Eddie V. Joining me is the gallivanting Galutrad himself, Mr. Jacob Taylor.
What's going on, Ed?
It's going great. Boss Rush himself, the one, the only, Mr. Corey Derrick.
Hello. I am here as well.
And everybody, you know we got a special guest in the building. He is not only the host of Crossroads, a next-gen podcast for Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. He's also co-host of the Boss Rush podcast and After Dark. And you guys can get those episodes early if you become a Patreon supporter. Everybody, please welcome the Broham, the Gunner Hunter himself, the PC Muscle Waste, the one, the only, the smooth, and the cool, Mr. LeRon Dawkins. Hello, good sir. Welcome back to Nintendo Power Block.
Man, I think the only thing I can say on that is what's popping.
Yes.
I think someone's lost. I think they joined the wrong Skype call.
Everybody, it has been a great week for news, for gaming. We are in May in a sense because we are kind of getting ready for the summer of announcements that are going to be dropping. But before we get into all of that, I'm going to ask you guys, how was your weekend? LeRon, how was your weekend?
I got rained in. It started raining Friday night. We had a severe thunderstorm we had a severe thunderstorm warning out here in our area. Mm-hmm. So it started raining, and it was saying when I say thunderstorm, it threw down. At one point the thunder was so crazy that it sounded like a car had crashed in the backyard. And then from there, because I thought it was only going to rain Friday night into Saturday morning. No, it just stayed raining the entire weekend. It just ruined my weekend.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I really didn't do a lot. So Friday I did, it was just blah. So I stayed in, got caught up on a couple of TV shows. And by I say caught up, I mean just watched more episodes. Saturday, I don't even remember what I did Saturday. Saturday, like I said, the rain and stuff just took the wind all the way out of my sails. So I just chilled. And Sunday, because I squandered all day Saturday, Sunday was my day to after I wished Mom Mother's Day and everything, it was my day to just catch up on the housework and the stuff that I did not do on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so yeah, my weekend was just a wash.
Were you planning on going to the movies to see the new Doctor Strange, or you're waiting?
I'm planning on it, but I was not planning to see it opening weekend. I don't even try and fight with Marvel movies on opening week.
Okay, all right. Corey, how was your weekend?
It was busy. My wife's birthday was this weekend. So we went out to dinner and did a little bit of celebrating. And then Sunday we went to the zoo. The big zoo, not the local zoo. The big zoo.
The big zoo.
Yeah. So it was good. It was fun. It was busy. But yeah, had some cake. Had some cupcakes. Had some really great Japanese cuisine for dinner. Ooh. So it's a good time.
All right. What about you, Jacob? How was your weekend?
Yeah, my weekend was good. I got my hair done. I went to the salon with my mom for Mother's Day and had my hair done. I inspired by Rogue, the white streak in the front. then we hung out with my grandma and my aunts and my mom, and we had like a family bet on the Kentucky Derby, and my uncle won like almost the full superfecta, like on his bets, the whole 80-1 on Rich Strike. That was crazy. And played a lot of Xenoblade and a lot of Switch Sports and Ring Fit. So it was good. It was a good weekend. How about yourself, Ed?
Well, so I went to go cut on my TV. I was close enough to it to where I need to hit the power button. Well, the power button broke. And I'm like, what the world happened? Like, I don't know how it did. I pressed the button and bloop, it fell off. And
You
I'm
don't
just
know
like,
your own strength.
I guess. So, and I kind of like ran out of batteries for my remote control, but I have my Switch connected to it. So in order for me to cut on my TV, I had to cut on my Switch, and everything. But I was just like, oh dang, I forgot. I don't have my Series X. I have my Series X connected to my TV, but I don't have it where if I cut it on, it also cuts on the TV. So I did some rigmarole stuff and got it working and everything. And now it's just got to cut on the TV with my remote now if I want to watch TV. But I normally just play video games on it, so I'm not worried about anything with that.
Isn't your TV like pretty new?
Yeah.
So why did the power button break? What'd you do?
I'm telling you, Ed doesn't know. Ed's got superhuman strength, man.
I have not one idea. Just it broke.
Okay.
So, but yeah, said happy birthday. Said happy Mother's Day to my mom. Got her a card in iTunes. Had to go sing at my friend's church Sunday, and we were ready to go, and the sound blew out in the church. So we didn't have no keyboard. We literally were singing with bass and drums.
Ed's breaking everything this weekend.
I know. You're so rough, man.
Guys, when
The power of Christ compels you,
when the
am I
podcast
right?
dies midway, that'll be extra fun.
Then but that's Skype. It's not me. So, but we had a good service and everything, and then I'm just doing basic work and seeing people get their final Mother's Day's gift stuff and everything. But other than that, I just pretty much chilled and probably getting ready to do a Studio Ghibli run of their movies. Because I kind of want to watch them like back to back. I do that kind of like once or twice a year, where I just sit back and watch them all. So kind of want to see them.
What's your favorite Studio Ghibli movie, Ed?
Oh, My Neighbor Totoro. My Neighbor Totoro, dang. It's a tie between My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. And the reason why I love Spirited Away, because it was the first, I think, anime to win an Academy Award or Oscar. And I remember that moment that it won and everything, because I was so happy. You know, I read in America. I left my friend's house from a WWE pay-per-view to go see that movie in theaters. And when it won, I was just so happy. I jumped for joy. So, but My Neighbor Totoro was my first Studio Ghibli movie that I brought, and surprisingly, I brought it at a Walmart for like $7 on DVD.
Nice.
So, but everybody, that has been our weekend. Corey, we have some shout outs to do for our Patreon producers. You want to go ahead and handle that?
Sure, I suppose I could do that. Yeah, so as always, we like to thank our Patreon producers here at the Boss Rush Network. Remember, if you head on over to patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, you too can be a patron. For $1, you can get the Boss Rush podcast and expansion pass 1 week early, or standard definition and After Dark 2 weeks early for just $1. But if you subscribe at the $5 tier, you become a Patreon producer, which means we give you a producer credit on the show. which means we like to yell out your name as loud as we can without waking up my children. So, without further ado, our Patreon producers for this episode of Nintendo Power Block are Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adriel Munger, and my wife, Sana Deering. I want to thank our producers for the Boss Rush Network. Remember, all of our content can be consumed for free, but if you support us on Patreon, you're supporting us directly, and you get a little bit of something extra. So thank you for supporting us however you do here on Nintendo Power
We
Block.
appreciate all of you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Well, everybody, it's that time for Snacktendo! Jacob, what have you been snacking on?
So I actually haven't really been snacking on anything that's super cool, but I did want to show something off and shout out a creator.
And before you go,
yeah,
that Tetris G Fuel, I am jealous of.
Yes, yeah. I everyone that listens to the show knows that I drink G Fuel all the time. So
wait, what?
Not sponsored, but yeah, dude, right? Literally have my shaker with water right there. But so I wanted to shout out Lovely Stitches US, which is an Etsy shop. They create little cute, adorable little like stitched, crocheted guys. I won this Kirby in a giveaway that she was doing. She's an awesome creator. You can check her out on Twitter, Lovely Stitches US. Yeah, she's great. Look at it. It's so cute. Look how cute
that
it
looks
is.
like something like it
so
looks
squishy.
The quality looks like something Nintendo would put out themselves.
Right? Like it looks like
it looks nice.
like the Yarn Yoshi, but it's Kirby.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. He sits proudly on the top of my like shelving, but I wanted to shout her out because she deserves it. She works
That's
really
awesome.
hard, and she's got like a.
Will you repeat that one more time? Who it is?
Lovely Stitches US on Etsy. Lovely Stitches US. She just did like a potted flower, like a little potted sunflower, and you can order it with or without a smiley face. With a smiley face, it kind of looks like Flowey from Undertale. So do with that information what you will, I guess.
Cool.
But yeah.
Oh.
So no snackage though for me.
Oh, that's okay. Corey, what have you been snacking on?
Well, I mean, like I said, we went to this Japanese cuisine place on Saturday. It was really good. It's like it's kind of different but good. It's an all-you-can-eat place, but it's not a buffet. What they do is bring you like a paper menu, and you kind of check off what you want, and then they will bring it to you. And then when they bring you your food, they will bring you another menu, so you can check off more. And so I had a lot of shrimp hibachi and sushi and spring rolls, and it was great. It's called Kentaro, so it's great. Service was a little slow, but that's it's fine.
Did it put you to sleep?
I mean, I would have liked it to, but I was busy, so no.
Oh.
But it was good, though. I highly recommend it if you are in the Akron/Fairlawn area.
Put it on the list.
No. I won't come home.
Oh, wow. LeRon, what was you snacking on?
Not too much crazy, but I discovered something in Food Lion yesterday when I called myself just going in Food Lion to get two things, freaking cheese and garlic bread, because I made spaghetti over the weekend.
Nice.
But so in the frozen this Food Lion I visited had like the weirdest layout, because like like most places, like their freezer section is all in the same area.
Yeah.
Like their shit was split up. Like their dairy and their ice cream and stuff was on one side of the store. On the other side of the store was the other stuff. So like pizza and all that stuff. Pizza, frozen vegetables, all weird, right? So like I walked through where I thought was the area that was going to be where all the frozen stuff was at. And I was sitting here like, like what type of bizarre world am I in? Like this is all they have in their frozen section, and then so I just walked around the store for a moment and discovered all the other in the store is where the other portion of the freezer section was. But over there on the other side where the freezer section's at is also where the candy and stuff is at.
Ooh.
So I'm like, okay, you can't win for losing with this one, right? But I discovered something, and I was like, oh, I have to pick this shit up. Starburst lollipops.
Ooh.
I didn't know this. I didn't know this a thing. The only reason why this is empty is because I immediately had to like dump them into a container.
Wow. Those must
Yeah.
be brand new because I've never seen them.
I did not know they were a thing, right? So yeah, they've got the four traditional flavors: cherry, orange, strawberry, and lemon. All of them are good. All of them are good. And I'm sorry, like Tootsie Roll, Starburst is coming to eat y'all's lunch because the Chewy Center is an actual Starburst.
Ooh,
Oh, that's
nice.
great.
Yeah. So
How does the lollipop actually taste? Like, is it like a direct taste of a Starburst?
it is reminiscent of a Starburst. As a matter of fact, if I had to say it, the actual candy shell reminds me of the Starburst jelly bean. The outer shell for that, right?
Yeah.
And then the Chewy Center is, like I said, the actual Starburst itself. Yeah. So they are delicious. Right now I'm not sure which is my favorite flavor right now. I'm almost partial to orange, which is crazy because I always like annihilate the lemon Starburst when I open up a bag. But yeah, like they're good, y'all. Get them.
Yeah, I have to go find them. Yeah, they have to be brand new because I've never seen or heard of them.
I did not know they were a thing until I saw them, and I was like, Starburst. Cause the funny thing is the packaging. I almost thought it was like a big, like economy sized bag of Starburst jelly beans, which is already like kryptonite for me. Like I will buy Starburst jelly beans when I see them, and I see this big bag, and I'm like, oh my god, they made Starburst jelly beans in a bigger bag. So I grabbed it, and I was like, wait a minute, lollipops? Sure, I'll spend $3.50 and see what's up with them. Yeah,
like, this was a good $3.50.
They're good.
I'll have to find them, give them a try. Thank you for letting me know that. Wow, I didn't even know they didn't even know that.
It's crazy. It's crazy because I bought these last night, and I had the first one, and I was like, man, this would be something really good to show off on Snacktendo. And then this morning you asked me if I wanted to come on the show. I was like, oh man, this is magic right now.
Yes. Awesome.
Write that down. LeRon said it would be magical to come on a Nintendo show. Everybody write it down. Magical.
But no, that's about that. That's pretty much it. And in case somebody's wondering, no, I'm not drinking on Nintendo Power Block. This is actually seltzer water. All right. Well, sparkling water. It's not seltzer water. It's sparkling water.
That's that like Death Apple thing, right?
Yeah, Liquid Death. Yeah,
Liquid Death. That's the one.
Yeah, like I was at a party a while back, and my buddy he has a terrible sense of humor. And he had a cooler that had the drinks. And he had another cooler that all it had was like a piece of paper, and written on it was "If you dare." So I was
wow.
like, okay, I dare. So like I opened it up and I was like, Liquid Death. And I was looking at it, I was like, man, like what in the Four Loko we got going on here, right? And and so I pulled one out and I was looking at it and I was like, sparkling water. Like this guy's a nut. And he's like, no, try it. I was like, I gave him that look. I was like, if I walk out of here drunk, I'm gonna be mad at you. So the black can is the black cans are the actual carbonated ones. And the white cans are just a straight water. So the first one I tried was the black can, and now I'm kind of hooked on these. Like they sell them at Target, and usually I'll go and buy a few cans, but I'm probably just gonna start buying cases when I go there from now on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So no, I'm not getting drunk on Power Block. This is actual water. Like I'm staying hydrated.
I know. I had to go. I need to go find a Mountain Dew adult beverage. Cause Austin has some. And I want to get because I want to get a 4-pack to taste them. He said they're really good. And everything. So I would not be confused to use that term on Power Block, but I will probably try them next week because we was talking about it on his podcast, and I was very interested to see how they taste. For me, everybody, with LeRon, was that all?
Mm-hmm.
For Snacktendo? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
I have a mouthful of lollipop. I'm sorry.
That's okay. For me, I had some pull and peel twisters. A lot of our monster stuff went to 20 cents at my job. So I got like the electrolytes monster drink. The Pacific flavor was like 20 cents. The French vanilla coffee monsters was like 20 cents, so I got those. But I ended up going to my grocery store, and they had honey graham tortellini gelato ice cream.
Wait. What?
Tortellini?
Wait, Tortellini?
Yeah.
Talenti?
Talenti.
Okay, Talenti. I was like, wait, is there a new brand gelato out there? I was about to start looking.
No, I thought it was tortellini.
For a second there, I was like, is he talking about pasta?
Honey graham pasta.
I wouldn't be surprised if they make.
It's worth a try. Like, I mean, like, it's like, like I talk about you all the time about how sus your taste is in food and stuff like that. But it's just sus enough that I would try that if it was like some 10 grams pasta. I was like, I'll try it once.
Yes.
As long as it's the one with the cinnamon on it.
Oh yes. Yeah, I had the honey graham flavor. It was really good. It was a very interesting taste because I thought they would have like kind of more of a crunch in it. It's more of like kind of vanilla. And then it's the honey graham is like kind of like melts in your mouth a little bit. It wasn't bad or anything. It was just surprising that I think it's one of their new flavors that they just brought out. Because normally I would get like the cookie and cream one or their Belgium chocolate. I normally get. But I tried this honey graham one. It was pretty good. I was completely surprised about it. So that's pretty much my Snacktendo. I haven't actually got out to go like food shopping just yet. I'm kind of getting that stuff ready for whatever we have in June and everything. So that everybody is Snacktendo. So now it's time for Hey You, What's New? Jacob, can you tell us what's new?
Yeah, so I've picked 3 games that are coming out this week that I thought looked very interesting. So let's go through those. The first one, when a trio of troublemakers inherit a junkyard mecha called Cowboy, they must put aside their differences and enter the planet's most elite mecha competition, the Ultimate Golden God Tournament. Play this immature adult humor RPG, Wolfstride, when it releases on May 10th. You can take control of a bird-like creature while flying through an immersive but peaceful sci-fi world in the story-driven 3D flight exploration game, Airy, A New Frontier, releasing May 12th. And then the Cyan Galaxy is in peril. Your trusty little starfighter and ragtag squadron of wingmen are the only hope against the evil Exodon. Save the galaxy like only you can in Hyper Echelon, a top-down shoot-'em-up releasing May 13th.
Can I launch a lawsuit? That is way too close to my screen name.
Exodon?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Go for it. You're apparently the bad guy in this game.
Well, I mean, it seems like I'm always somebody's bad guy.
Oh no. The 3D flight one is a little interesting to me. I feel like we've had a lot of those types of games lately, like just kind of peaceful flying through a 3D world games lately. I think we had one last week as well coming out.
That's weird. Is Area a new game or is this a sequel to something? I feel like I've seen that name before.
Yeah.
I think so. I think it is a sequel, but I do not know for sure.
Okay. I know Hyper Echelon looks up my just kind of right on my alley. I love a good shoot 'em up. And some good top down ones I enjoy playing. Corey, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Hyper Echelon also had a little bit of like a Cowboy Bebop kind of look to it, just a little bit, not a whole lot, but definitely had more of like that, kind of like what LeRon was saying earlier, like a cyberpunky type, not just like a typical sci-fi. Like everything looked a little bit punk.
All right, Corey, LeRon, any interest in these games? Like to check them out?
Definitely Wolf Stride. And maybe Scion Galaxy too.
Rod just wants to check out Scion Galaxy because he's the villain.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to make my case when I take them to court.
Yeah. Wolf Stride also looked cool. It was like a black and white style, like noir looking game almost, but it's an RPG, so that's interesting.
I did Chronicle Rising. It's the spiritual successor to the one Konami game. Why can I not think of it? RPG. Suikoden. That's what it is. They have like a 2D kind of beat 'em up game RPG that's coming out on the 10th. Also, everybody's looking forward to that. Yeah, Airy. Yeah, this looks very familiar for Airy.
Yeah, I feel like there was a game previously. Let me look that up and we can move on to our question block.
Okay. LeRon, did you have any? You said your interest, right?
Yeah, Wolf Stride and Scion Galaxy.
What about you, Corey? Anything?
I mean, honestly,
I'm sorry. Hyper Echelon. My bad. I keep saying the wrong part of the.
I don't know. Probably not. I'm gonna be honest with you. Probably not.
So it looks like Airy is very much a series of games. There's Airy Little Bird Adventure, Airy A Journey Beyond Time, and Airy Calm Mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Sequel to all of those, I guess.
All right. Well, everybody, it's time for Crashing the Block. Corey, take it away.
All right. Well, you guys know that you can ask us questions on the show, and we will probably answer them. So, without further ado,
We'll do our best.
If you tweet at us at PowBlock Podcast, or look for our post on Mondays and comment on that, or you can email us at nintendopowblock@gmail.com. Any combination of those, you can tweet at us without the Monday post. But just saying, ask us questions, we'll answer them. We enjoy answering your questions. It's a good time. It usually sparks a lot of conversation. Sometimes we have to cut other segments short, but we'd rather do this than talk to you about, blah, 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 blah. So, here we go. Our first question, guys, is from none other than Deshaun Malone. He writes in, he says, what major third-party games would y'all wish come to Switch?
Okay. LeRon, I'm gonna let you go first with this one.
LeRon's like, no, I got a PC. I don't need third-party games.
Because I think you probably would have a nice list of games that you would probably like to see on Switch.
Did you not hear Corey just now?
What?
Okay. In a perfect world where the Switch was compatible to other consoles or PC, what PC game would you like to play on the go at any time?
Okay, let me think about this here real quickly. Actually, circle back to me in a minute. Circle back to me, please.
What's wrong, LeRon? The question throw you off?
I mean, I have a few that I can think of. Let's see. Major third-party games that we wish would come to Switch. First one I can think of, and call me out now if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen it yet. Just go ahead and put Just Set Radio on the freaking Switch. It seems to be very at home in a handheld environment. Like, I mean, even the Game Boy Advance knockoff of Jet Set Radio did very well.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, like do that. Like Nintendo has like a backwards relationship with Microsoft anyway. Just go ahead and get the licensing rights for Jet Set Radio Future, and
It's
I will
actually
be set.
Sega. Sega owns Jet Set Radio, so
They
Yeah,
have a
but
good relationship with
yeah,
Sega too.
Yeah, but Microsoft still has a license for that game. Because I
Are you
mean, by
sure?
now,
Do they?
because
I don't
by
think
now,
so.
I feel like by now, like it should have shown out at least on PC. Like, I mean, it is only on Xbox.
For the sequel, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, Jet Set Radio Future.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, it came out on the original Xbox.
so you want the
I want
The-
I want the sequel more than I want the original because
original?
yeah, because in all honesty, like like if I need to play, because I have the Dreamcast version, I have the PS3 version, I have the PS Vita version, I have the PC version. So let's do this. Like you want to keep printing money off this game, like put it on the Switch.
I can see Sega doing that, and Microsoft, with their good relationship with Nintendo, releasing that. Like
Sega still owns all rights to Jet Set Radio.
Well, yeah,
I just looked it
said
up. Microsoft has no ownership over that game.
They don't have the license for the second game.
Mm-mm.
Then what's taking so long then?
Maybe because
It's
nobody
Sega.
bought it.
Oh,
You
well,
like
plenty
it.
of people
Ed
love
like
it.
no. It's one of those games that
It's a
like
cult classic.
No. The problem with Jet Set Radio Future was the fact that they gave it away with systems.
they did. It came
With
with
like a
Sega
pack
GT
in?
also. It was a
Yeah,
double.
they gave it away.
It was a double
like
disc.
it's-
It was Jet Set Radio Future and Sega GT 2002. I have that disc downstairs. Came with my
Yeah, so
Xbox.
it's hard. So it's hard to track like real sales of people who are actually interested in the game when like it's bundleware. It's just like in all seriousness, how can we say Wii Sports was like a number one title for the Switch when for the Wii when it was bundleware,
Here's a fun fact. Jet Set Radio Future only sold 80,000 units in the United States in its initial 6-month sales window before it was packed in with the Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
So that
Game
means there's
Face
80,000 people that would buy it on the Switch.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you with the cult following that Jet Set Radio the franchise has, if they release it, unless they have remakes and re-releases and remasters and stuff, like come on, like they don't even have to remaster this game.
I'd probably say it would probably do about 100,000 copies. Oh, they do
Well,
physical.
That's nothing.
It would do more.
That's not
It would
worth.
do-
That's not even worth.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even cover their porting fees.
I don't know about that. Maybe.
It costs approximately anywhere between $800,000 and $1 million to port a game.
Mm,
Plus, you got to think about if you're going to do physical copies, you're going to want to print cartridges.
I think that's what everybody will want. They will
Yeah.
want the physical.
Well, then that's where people balk because like it's very expensive to do those cartridges.
Mm-hmm. You can buy a physical Xbox disc of just Jet Set Radio Future for $54.83, or you can buy the Jet Set Radio Future Sega GT double pack for $12.99. Right now.
Dang! I expected it to be cheaper than that.
But I think only reason I said like just 100,000 because I think people would be like, "What is this series?" I think some people would probably be new to it, and everything. If they do physical, I think they'll definitely sell more, with it. But
I don't know.
I feel like physical is a double-edged sword because like I walked into my Best Buy today and there was like literally 3 rows full of the Scott Pilgrim game. Like strangely, all of a sudden, like it showed up on shelves.
yeah, because everybody got it from Limited Run already. They got their Limited Run copies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Best Buy.
I couldn't believe it because I thought Best Buy wasn't getting any because there was like no announcement.
Well, Best Buy has an exclusive deal with Limited Run to sell their physical items in their store, but it has a different cover.
Yeah. Okay.
So, because I got Ukulele and Super Meat Boy at Best Buy, and they have different covers than the Limited Run versions. But they still say Limited Run on the front.
All right. What about you, Corey?
Oh gosh, where do I start? So let's see. We talked a lot about Tomb Raider last week.
Yes.
I really want to see those games come, either like the Legend trilogy or the new trilogy, right? Like I think those we talked about, like those first two games are Xbox 360 games, so I don't see any reason why those couldn't come over at some point. I think that shoot, what was I? I was just thinking of something and then I forgot because we got caught up in this Jet Set Radio Future crap. I just want to see more effort put into third-party games in general. You know, I mean, we saw Bethesda do it, and like those are very playable ports. We saw The Witcher come over, right? We've seen Dying Light come over, and like those are two huge games that make me think like if you just put in a little effort to port them over. And of course, like I know you got to look at like sales data and like, oh, will these sell? Will these cover our porting costs? Will this cover the studio that's porting it? Will they, all that kind of stuff. But like, man, I feel like third party games we've dipped a lot. We don't get very many big third party games, and the ones we do get are cloud versions, and it just sucks, right? Like we talked about Kingdom Hearts, we've talked about Control and Hitman, and like I'm not saying Control and Hitman would run great natively on the Switch, but like, man, cloud version just feels like a punch in the face. I'd rather just not get it, I think for me that the Tomb Raider games I think are pretty decent ones that I would really like to see. I would have liked to see Guardians of the Galaxy come over.
Not a cloud game.
What?
As not a cloud game?
Yeah. The cloud stuff sucks. Get it out of here. I like cloud as like a secondary option to games. I don't like it being the primary version, right? Like I think the Xbox is doing it right where like you can either download it or play the cloud version. I think that's the solution, right? I think that's why Stadia kind of failed and on live and whatever else other streaming services out. The PlayStation Now even to an extent, right? Like I just think the Xbox is doing it correctly, and not to go off on a side tangent or anything, but like Xbox is doing so many things right except for getting first party titles out. Like their backwards compatibility stuff is second to none. Their Game Pass and cloud streaming stuff is second to none. Like they have great personalities in the gaming industry. They have so many great things except for their output of games, right? Like last year, yeah, Xbox had a good year last year, but it was still Forza and Halo that carried that console. And so, in the first year it was Gears, right? Like Gears 5 and Gears Tactics were the games that carried the console. Like, oh man. Anyways, back to the question. I'm sorry, I just had to go on that little rant. I just wish like Nintendo would take like a small page, which don't get me wrong, I really like their classic kind of thing they've got going on with NSO, right? I think it's a good idea. I think they need to fill out those libraries more, but I think it's a good idea. But man, third party games. I would like to see man, I don't even know at this point, because we have some Assassin's Creed games, we have The Witcher, we have man, I don't know. I guess Tomb Raider would be my answer after that really long rant. Sorry.
I guess for me personally, like if Nintendo consoles were my primary gaming console, I'd probably have a lot more answers for this,
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like like I have my hands kind of everywhere. I'm in PlayStation. I'm on PC. I have a Switch. I do get Nintendo products, stuff like that. So Nintendo's not the primary, system for me. That's not saying that I don't play it, because actually this past year, I feel like my Switch got a lot more playtime than my PlayStation 5 did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now my PC's creeping back up into it. When you'll find out a little bit more about that with when we get to playing with power. But yeah, overall, I feel like if Nintendo can't get the new third party, like one thing that Nintendo definitely excels at with the Switch is getting like the old school classics, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So if they tapped a little bit more from the Dreamcast era, if they tapped a little bit more from from like the offshoot eras, like the original Xbox and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think they'd really be onto something, and also will keep the viability of this 5-year-old system going. Because it would distract from people from asking like, when's the new system coming out? If they keep like reeling in like some of the stuff that will bring like traditional players like me back. Like, can you imagine if they dusted off their GameCube stuff and like Sega said, boom, we're gonna reopen the servers for Phantasy Star Online. And we're gonna bring that classic back. And I'm not talking about the new one that just came out not too long ago.
Mhm.
I'm talking about the one that everybody played, the GameCube one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man
Exactly.
after my own heart.
Exactly. Yeah, I would play it again. As a matter of fact, it's funny because like I was looking at some stuff and I was like, man, I really missed the Dreamcast / GameCube Phantasy Star Online. I miss it.
Mm-hmm.
I at least once a week look at the $100 copies of PSO on Amazon.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I want one.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, honestly, if they tap into their GameCube library a little more, shake Konami's tree, be like, can we re-release Twin Snakes?
I think a Metal Gear collection is coming. By the way,
Which Metal Gear collection though?
What?
The HD collection?
The Legacy collection, which is 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think you're gonna get. I think you're gonna get a Twin Snakes release in there though, instead of a PS1.
Now, when you say Metal Gear Solid 4, like be careful because like that sounds like it'd be a cloud game.
Nope.
It
was a PlayStation 3 exclusive. That game.
Do you
do you
know the heavy lifting that game had to do? Like you had 20-minute wait times because they had to load whole sections of the game. Game into the PS3.
Yeah, but the PlayStation 3, if you didn't utilize that, what's the stupid processor called in there? The cell processor.
Cell processor.
Like if you didn't utilize it correctly, it was half as powerful as the Xbox 360.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you can get The Witcher and Dying Light running on the Switch, you can get Metal Gear Solid 4 running on the Switch. Sorry.
Here's what I feel like Here's what I feel if they decide that they are gonna bring Metal Gear Solid, they're gonna do the HD collection, which is MGS 2 and 3. They will probably do a separate release for Metal Gear Solid for Twin Snakes because that's the one everybody would prefer to play anyway. Honestly,
Twin Snakes.
Yeah, and then Metal Gear Solid 4, that's kind of up in the air. I feel like that's the one that would probably be cloud version, but maybe it's just because of my experience because I bought it when it was brand new for PS3.
Yeah. Well, they will probably do a digital version for all of them because that's what they've been doing for their past games. Konami has.
Well, if you remember, Metal Gear Solid 5 also ran on PlayStation 3. That was also released.
I didn't play it.
No, I'm just saying it was released on PlayStation 3, which is crazy to think about.
Wait, was it?
Yeah, it was PS3 and PS4. It was cross-gen.
Yeah.
Okay, see, I did once I had a PS4 in my house, like I didn't care about what was going on PS3 anymore.
To be fair, I didn't really care about anything that came out on PlayStation 3 in the first place.
Wow. Well, Jacob, what is your list? What games?
Yeah, I've got 3 answers for this one. So I'd like not Bethesda. Well, yeah, I'd like Bethesda to release a Fallout game on the Switch. I'd like for Rockstar to release either Red Dead Redemption or GTA 5 on the Switch, and I would like Bungie to release Destiny 2 on the Switch, or whatever they've got coming, or Destiny 1 even.
Here's the
just
thing.
A Destiny game.
Here's the thing about Destiny 2. I doubt it's coming, but it's more possible than ever because they are talking about taking the Stadia tech and implementing it proprietarily and making a cloud version of Destiny for phones and mobile devices.
I don't want a cloud version of the game.
I mean, that's the only way you're going to get it, though.
I will never ever buy a cloud game. Never in a million years.
Jacob would rather have a curse on his family
If
than the cloud game.
if Nintendo tomorrow announces that they're going full cloud
All
gaming,
cloud?
I will catch me on
He will-
Crossroads being a PlayStation fanboy. Man. Like,
Oh wow.
I
You mean so you can play all
refuse.
those PlayStation 3
Jacob,
games cloud
Jacob would defect.
through the cloud?
Yeah.
Please,
Or Microsoft. I don't know. PC,
Please-
something.
please-
I'd figure
please-
it out.
please don't give me your resignation. I know.
Listen, as somebody who is currently suffering from an internet connection that has 5 megabyte download and 1 megabyte upload, cloud gaming is not the way.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It took 3 days to download Photoshop.
Wow, that's insane.
So
Wow.
no cloud gaming.
Well,
Anyways.
for me,
Yeah,
ahead.
it's Ed's turn.
Sorry.
go ahead, Corey.
No, you go ahead.
You go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
Somebody go.
The game I was thinking of was Gotham Knights. I really want on the Switch, or like the Batman games in general.
The Argo collection.
Yeah,
Those-
I mean any of them.
Yeah, I could see those being on the Switch. I could definitely see those being on Switch.
Yeah, I mean especially because WB seems to be investing a lot to get Harry Potter on the Switch, and that game looks really intense to be running on this platform. So just give me some Batman, man. I don't care which one. Give me Arkham Origins. I don't care. I like that game.
Why isn't the Batman collection on Switch? That one should be there too.
I thought they announced that for Switch. Did they not?
No, it's
They
been rumored.
announced the
It's been rumored for a long
Telltale
time.
Game.
Okay.
Well, for me, Max Payne 3, DLC to May Cry, Titanfall 2, just to get that out of the way. Einhander.
Einhander?
Einhander.
PS1? Oh,
Yes,
Top the square.
Yes, well shoot, they've been bringing all their old stuff with HD2D to it.
Only Final Fantasy in the Mana series.
I mean, no live.
And that ridiculous Saga Frontier.
Oh, shoot, yeah. That one, J Empire from BioWare, I would love to see. I'd shoot Radiant Silvergun, because we only got Ikaruga. We don't got Radiant Silvergun. Mischief Makers I would love to have on it. I'm glad that we get tournament fighters from the Turtles coming soon. So but Soul Calibur 2 I want the GameCube version. I definitely want Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Come on, Platinum, just bring that crazy game over. Definitely Vanquish. I would love to see, and Mad World. I would love to see, to come to it. Just bring that all over to the Switch and everything.
I love Vanquish, but I don't know if the Switch can handle Vanquish.
Why?
For
It was a
PS2,
360 game.
I know.
They're bringing El Shaddai over apparently, so they could probably bring Vanquished.
Right.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just don't pay enough attention to the tech that's in the Switch.
I don't think you do.
I would be willing to bet that if they were to bring Vanquished, it would just be that like the amount of bullet texture and projectiles on screen would go down.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing.
Like instead of like 1,000 bullets coming at you, it'd be like 100.
I mean, also like, I think anybody who's played Vanquish recently, especially on PC, it got that really nice remaster that runs at, I think on PC it runs at 120 frames a second, and it does a bunch of like crazy PC crap. And you got to remember that when this game came out on the Xbox 360, it was running sub 30 because of everything that was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I would love to see Killer Instinct the arcade version come to Switch.
Okay.
So,
it's just like I would love to see every game that's not on Switch.
That's not on Switch. Yeah.
Ed and I are part of
that wasn't his answer.
Ed and I are part of the Pets Initiative. Port everything to Switch. Okay.
Oh wow, that's great.
Wow.
So.
That's actually a really good acronym.
Yeah. I didn't
Ed,
come up with it. I heard it on GameScoop like 4 or 5 years ago. So.
Do you have more that you want to port to Switch, Ed?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Well, like Mafia 3, I would love to have that port to Switch. I really enjoyed Mafia 3.
Wait,
and Stupid
wasn't
Dogs.
that announced for Switch and then it got canceled?
No.
Okay.
No, the Mafia games, they got the first one got remade, but only for Xbox One and I think PS4. And then they like remastered 2 and 3. Switch never got the Mafia games. So, but I would love to see like definitely Sleeping Dogs in Mafia 3 on Switch.
I'm surprised nobody here has asked for Elden Ring.
I'm not interested.
I think, yeah. I think the Soul games and everything. I think their fan base is
Also, Dark Souls
pretty
didn't
much
sell. Dark Souls didn't sell
Yeah.
that well on Switch when that remaster came out. So, I think they were just like, "Well, this is our test bed. Maybe we'll port Dark Souls 2 and 3 over at some point," and then it didn't sell well, so they just didn't bother.
Yeah, well, Bandai Namco didn't really market it, and the game came out later than.
Oh yeah,
Xbox
it was delayed. That's right.
Yeah, they literally delayed it. And then you're right. And then when it came, I mean, people who are beating it, some people now they say they've been beating it on Switch and everything for Dark Souls, but it was just so late that people just forgot about it and everything. So that's a Bandai Namco thing.
Real quick before we move on to the next question from the chat on twitch.tv/BossRushNetwork, Coconut says Red Dead would be sick, and Still Saying Shane says he would love Fear, Resistance, and Baten Kaitos.
Fun fact: Nintendo owns Baten Kaitos, and they own Monolith Soft now, who developed it. So
that's true. It's a possibility.
Oh, the Resistance can't come to Switch.
Yeah, it's first party. It's first party PlayStation.
Yeah, that's a Sony.
I mean, if Resistance showed up on the Switch, I would play the hell out of it.
I would.
Because
I mean, Resistance needs to show up on PlayStation first to...
Exactly. Like it's not on Spartacus, whatever PlayStation Plus Essential. Yeah, it's not on that.
Yeah, I love Resistance 3. I still think when it comes to Insomniac and their weapons, I think Resistance 3 has the best with one of the Ratchet and Clanks probably being second in that one game that was on Xbox. Sunset Overdrive being third. Yeah.
Two things before we move on. Dark Souls Remastered only sold 105,000 units on Switch. And what was I saying? Something about PlayStation. Oh, yeah. The amount of games I didn't play on PlayStation, every time I hear somebody talk about one, I'm like astonished at like how little PlayStation first party games I've actually played in my lifetime.
Oh, it's almost like how many movies you've seen in your life too.
I know. I've probably seen more movies.
I played a lot of PlayStation first party.
Our second question comes from Josh Martinez. He says, what Nintendo world would you want to move to? Which one would you want to visit for vacation? Which one would you never want to visit under any circumstances? Ed?
Yeah, Ed, please start.
What Nintendo world would you want to move to? Which one would you want to visit for vacation? And which one would you never visit under any circumstances? So I definitely would love to go to some of the worlds in Yoshi's Crafted world because it's just so cool, and being the way that they took like crafted things and candy and everything and made like levels design over them. I would go to there. The one that I actually kind of would visit would be Eternal Darkness. Just to see the spookiness and the hidden like stories that game would tell. Just for one day, and in the morning I'm out. The one that I would never would want to visit under any circumstances. Oh, good googly moogly. Great gosh. I would never want to visit any of the Fire Emblem worlds.
Why?
Because all that medieval, all the death, and I nothing would entertain me with that. Like I understand medieval stuff and I enjoy it, but like no electricity, no bath. The folks in those games are crazy. Sometimes I would not want to visit any of the Fire Emblem worlds. So that's my answer.
Interesting. Jacob,
Yes.
where do you want to live / visit / get rid of?
I would want to move to a Pokemon world. I think everybody would want to move to a world that has Pokemon, which that does include the incredibly scary, like, giant onyxes roaming around and stuff. So, but it's dangerous, but it'd be fun to be a Pokemon trainer. I would love to visit either Zelda or Mario. I wouldn't want to stay there. I just feel like it'd get kind of boring after enough time. But Zelda especially, I think it'd be really cool to like roam around Hyrule Fields and visit all of the touristy areas like Kakariko Village and Death Mountain and stuff. The series that I would never ever under any circumstance want to visit would be Kirby, because Kirby's world, like Earth, is always destroyed or desolate or forgotten.
Jacob's just he's just trying not to be swallowed.
Yeah,
what would Kirby inherit if he swallowed you?
Great hair.
Great hair glass.
He's bald right now, so he needs it. But yeah, no, Kirby's all of like planet Earth in Kirby is always just gone. Like it's just demolished. It's an apocalypse. That or Pikmin. Unless I was like living on Hocotate. One of the Pikmin people. But man, yeah, it's dark places, dude. Dark places.
Dark places.
Mm-hmm.
LeRon, what about you?
Okay, so the Nintendo world I want to move to, like this, if anyone knows me, they know my answer. It's definitely Metroid's universe. Like like I'll deal with the peril of like the galactic space pirates and all that stuff happening. So I'll probably be a bounty hunter myself, just to even things up a little bit. But yeah, just hopping planet to planet, like praying to God there's no X parasites in the air and whatnot,
No,
so that
I'd like to imagine you being in Samus's ship like Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, just like sitting there eating Skittles, watching her doing stuff.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yep. LeRon, press the button.
No, not that one. We're all gonna.
Oh God, the one I would want to visit for vacation. Now this is very specific. Like it's definitely Mario, but the only world I want to visit specifically is the entire Dream Kingdom of Super Mario 2. That's the only one I want to visit. That's the only one I want to visit for a vacation. There's too much chaos going on in all the other Mario worlds. Like you got one Mario world that's nothing but freaking like racetracks and everybody's like falling off and blue shells are all over the place. You got another one where it's like basically every time you look, Bowser is like transforming into something different and trying to like destroy the whole landscape, stuff like that. You got another one where like Peach is like the most badass person out there, but if you upset her, she'll cry and cause a flood. It's like
Super Princess Peach.
Yep.
Isle Delfino, they have a pollution problem apparently. I would love to meet Bowser Jr. because he is my favorite Mario character.
I thought you would go with Super Mario Sunshine because of like all the water and.
That's what I'm saying. Like Isle Delfino, it's got a pollution problem. Like some little rapscallion with a brush like keeps going and marking everything up.
There's a really good chance that they blame you for their littering too. Like that seems to be their MO. Is that they do something wrong and they're like, it's your fault.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't have time for that. The one world that the one world I would never visit under any circumstances, Splatoon. That place is a mess.
Why would you not? I thought you would say Smash Brothers.
No. I mean, I feel like Smash Bros is a fantasy realm. Like that's where all the good characters go when they die.
Wow.
Yeah, but come on, Splatoon, it'd be a freaking nightmare. Imagine driving your car and next thing you know, like your car gets doused in paint, you can't see anything, so you crash automatically. Like, geez, no, like I need my chaos to make sense.
Wow. I thought it was gonna be Smash because you don't like Smash.
I don't like Mario Kart and I don't like Mario Kart and Mario Party either. But yeah, like I didn't really single them out.
What about you, Corey?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. All these places sound dangerous and terrible. I like to turn these places off when I'm done playing them, right? I mean, Mario, you're going to get fireballs and giant plants eating you, right? Zelda, you have these terrifying monsters just living in caves and dungeons. Kirby's going to eat you. You're just going to be walking there minding your own business, and you're going to see this big pink ball just
sucking you in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Smash Bros, everybody's trying to fight you. Mario Kart would probably be simple, but the last couple times I've ridden in a go-kart, like my back just is dead.
Oh wow.
I'm telling you, blue shells and banana peels.
Yeah, man. I do enjoy a good banana though. By the way, did you know that bananas?
It's never the banana; it's the peel.
Did you know that bananas are super high in sugar?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Did
knew
you
they.
not?
I like they have more sugar in them than like apples and grapes and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew they had a lot of sugar, but not that much. It's like, maybe I should cut back on my banana consumption.
Intake.
Because I eat like 2 or 3 a day.
So basically, you're definitely staying away from Donkey Kong Country Land.
Yeah. Gorillas are scary. Not doing that.
Oh, how about the enemy crocodiles?
No, they're terrifying too.
Nowhere is safe.
You know what? I'm gonna go hide in the Fire Emblem school. Just hide.
What about Wii Sports or Nintendo Land?
Yeah.
Will you ever get any rest in those places though? It seems like all they do are they're athletes 24/7, 365.
He's not
Chibi-Robo
wrong.
Is the only safe answer. A world where there's a tiny robot that cleans your house for you. That's the only safe
Chibi-Robo?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, I will be the humans in the Chibi-Robo universe where Chibi-Robo just cleans my house and fails to catch the love and attention he deserves.
Yep.
I mean, shoot, even Astro Chain isn't safe.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, Animal Crossing, I guess, would be.
Oh
safe
god, that'd
too.
be so boring. That'd be so boring even for a vacation.
Yeah, but here's the thing: I like decorating. I don't like fossil hunting or butterfly catching or whatever else you do in that game. Or also, once a year, there's a terrifying rabbit that chases you around the island. But I do like to decorate.
Corey's like, you know what I want to do on vacation? Work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah. So,
Oh
man, good times.
Yeah. Josh and Deshaun, thank you so much for the questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So remember, email us or tweet at us your questions, and we'll get them read on air. Ed, I'm sending it back your way so you can sling it back to Jacob.
All right. And everybody, it's time for FamiNews. Yes. Jacob, take it away.
Yeah, so just like last week, we're going to be doing headline news. So if any three of y'all have something to say, feel free to interject at any time. So let's get started. Sometimes a company's expectation of a game doesn't quite hit the mark. As it would turn out, the game loathed by fans, Metroid Other M, was meant to be a defining moment for the franchise, at least according to Reggie Fils-Aimé. Quoted from his appearance on Kinda Funny Gamescast, I really thought that this was going to be a defining moment for the Metroid franchise. It was giving much more of a perspective about Samus. I really thought that this was going to be a killer moment in the franchise's history, and it wasn't. It didn't deliver. Not the business results. It didn't touch the player the way we hoped.
Okay, let me speak about this. I'm sorry, everybody.
It touched Ed, guys.
It was my game of the year when it came out, and I think
Wait,
everybody's.
it was?
Yeah,
Like you're not joking right now.
I'm not joking. No,
Okay,
it was
okay.
my game of the year.
Okay,
Because
continue.
and I talked about this. I'm like, people don't understand that tech Team Ninja, their games, even though they were challenging, their camera was trash. The cameras in those games were abysmal. And when they did all of that, just what they worked on with other end with the gameplay, with the like layout and everything was really cool, making Samus really agile. Like people who were Nintendo fans never got to experience the Ninja Gaiden series, the modern ones, like they did. So if with Metroid Other M, yeah, they had story problems, but everything worked and everything was good. We never had a backstory to Samus. We never knew how she would sound. We would never know her fears or anything, because everything for the Metroid series was always in 2D. Even if you look at Metroid Prime, you had to search for the story about it, and it was never focused on Samus. Everybody wanted that. Everybody had an expectation of Metroid Other M being some 3D version of Super Metroid, still following the same formula, and it was completely something different. And now that they broke the mold with at Metroid Other M, people who was getting ready for Metroid Dread were playing Other M and thoroughly enjoyed it. So it's kind of weird to see that people were upset or they didn't like it or anything. I'm just like, you've never really played a modern Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo game at all. Because if you would have played the Ninja Gaiden games on Xbox and PlayStation, you would be mad at Team Ninja. If you want to be mad, if you think that Dark Souls and the Bloodborne games were hard, you have not played none of their games. And I think the Nintendo crowd, who at that time who bought Other M, they never played it or anything.
Well, let me ask you this, because I never played Other M, but a good circle of my friends, they know like I'm a Metroid fan, and the only reason, Other M was on what system?
Wii.
It was on the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no idea why I didn't buy it. I really don't, because I had a Wii. I think I didn't buy it. I think my main reason why I didn't buy it was because I just wasn't prepared for it. But that's neither here nor there. The main reason why I never played the game is because like the friends who knew I was a Metroid fan, they told me I was not going to like this game. And you know what? Like when people and trust, like tell you something because they know you, like you usually want to believe it, stuff like that. Now I've seen a long play of Metroid Other M, and I'm like, this game's kind of fumbling. Like the action sequences are great, but this game does fumble, especially from a hardcore like Metroid person. Like like Other M is one of the few Metroid games I've never played. And that's saying a lot because I try to play every single one of them, even if that means I have to buy a system for it. And I don't really have an excuse for why I didn't play Other M because I had the system.
Right, and Koei Tecmo was the first, or Team Ninja, I say, was the first developer ever to touch the Metroid system outside of Nintendo.
That's not true because you had Prime.
Nintendo owned Retro.
Nintendo owns Retro.
Yeah.
Did they own Retro then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh.
They owned Retro. They owned Retro then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 1, they owned Retro at the game at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yep.
I'll take you guys' word for y'all are the Nintendo experts. I thought Retro was just an outside studio that they got the one game and then Nintendo was like, you know what, I like you, have a cupcake, and they bought them.
No, well, Nintendo used the Rare money because they wanted a Western presence, and so they bought a majority stake in Retro.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, and then and then Metroid Prime so well, they just ended up acquiring them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like for the Metroid series, Koei Tecmo was the first one. Mercury Steam are the second developers ever to work on that on the Metroid series outside of Nintendo. And so I guess people were just they had some kind of expectation that this is going to be a 3D Super Metroid, because anytime Metroid came up, they all related it to Super Metroid.
Well, I think the reason why is because like Super Metroid revolutionized the formula that Metroid had,
Yeah.
and then like Metroid Fusion comes out a few years later. Well, not a few years later. God, it came out it came out over a decade later for Super Metroid.
Yeah.
And like it was basically like Super Metroid, and with a Metroid Zero Mission like uplift.
Yeah, but a lot of Metroid fans who complained about it, I'm like, you guys never played a Mario Kobe Tecmo game, so you wouldn't understand.
Team Ninja.
Well, Team Ninja was the developer, but I should say Kobe Tecmo because Tecmo was the actual company, and everything. But yeah,
I played the Ninja Gaiden. I played the two of the Ninja Gaiden games. They weren't really for me.
Right. So I think that's what a lot of people just, and they were just like, well, and everybody was just like, well, she's been this like real cool bounty hunter, and she's never been feared. I'm like, oh, right. We only know that because it's everything that's been in 2D. She's been a silent protagonist for most of all of her games. We have not really got we really haven't got any kind of character development or background.
It's funny. It's funny how you said it because Samus had a lot of character in Metroid Dread.
Oh yeah.
I still love when Kraid shows up for the first time and she doesn't even flinch. She just shoots him right in the mouth with the power beams.
So, but back to you, Jacob. I've always defend Metroid Other M. I think it is, to me, I feel like it's a 9.5. It's not a perfect 10. There were some story elements, but I really enjoyed that game.
I guess if I can find a way to play this game, I will try it out. I can't really hedge any bets on it because like old school Nintendo, well, not old school Nintendo games, but Nintendo games of certain generations, it's hard to play those if you don't have the hardware.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So that was from Reggie Fils-Aimé. And speaking of ex-Nintendo employees, former quality assurance manager and software development manager at Nintendo of America, Heather, and I'm sorry if I get this wrong, Gerald, has now taken up position with the Forza team at Xbox, joining as the director of quality at Turn 10 Studios. Announced by Heather herself on LinkedIn on May 3rd, she states, "Start your engines. I'm excited to announce that I'm shifting gears and joining Microsoft Xbox Game Studios as the director of quality at Turn 10 Studios, Forza Motorsport Series, and Horizon." The wordplay I greatly appreciate.
I gotta say, a lot of people who leave Nintendo end up at Microsoft, and that's fine with me. I think they make some great decisions doing that. So, congrats to her.
Here's my question though. What is that position?
I don't
Quality assurance manager?
Here's the thing though.
Or director of quality? Probably exactly what it sounds like. Just making sure that everything in the game is actually up to what Microsoft standards should be.
Are Playground and Turn 10 really the studios that need that position filled, though? They have 29 other studios that need to put games out.
Corey poses a very good question.
I'm just saying.
Like just like you said, Microsoft's biggest problem is putting out first party games. So,
I mean, I'm just saying, Forza's been the only consistent since the original Xbox.
Forza's like their only like mainstay.
Well, maybe that was because they had a quality manager and that person left, and now they've got a new one. Yeah. We'll see if they still stay consistent. I'm sure that they will.
Like I said, Turn 10 Studios is like top tier. They're really good at what they do. So I'm happy for her.
You got something to say, Corey?
No more.
Okay.
Let's go.
The Nintendo Switch Online mobile app, aka the little app that now offers users the option to switch, pun intended, between a light and dark mode. At launch, the app was exclusively used in dark mode. However, with the latest update, you can go into settings and select dark mode to turn it on or off if you're one of the 3 other people out there that still consistently uses the Nintendo Switch Online app. That's all that one. That's all there is.
Right.
Great.
And then Do you hear the rumble in the jungle? Apparently, the Holophonics, a ska punk band from Texas, shout out to Texas. I don't actually like living in Texas, but shout out Texas. Certainly do. You too can add these funky fresh banana tunes to your music library for just $9 digitally by visiting their Bandcamp, theholophonics.bandcamp.com, and purchasing their new ska Donkey Kong album, which I believe is featuring music from all of the 3 Donkey Kong games. And if you are a major ska head or Kong fanatic, you can buy a record or vinyl for $35, also on their Bandcamp. Apparently, it's bopping. I mean, the Donkey Kong music is always bopping.
Yeah.
But apparently the Holophonics have like done something really crazy here.
Funny because when you think of ska, you think of Tony Hawk, and I think Crazy Taxi has ska music into it.
Yeah.
Also?
Wait, what was the name of that group?
The Donkey Kong thing?
No, Crazy Taxi. Pretty Fly for a White Guy. That group. Who were they?
Oh,
yeah, that wasn't ska.
No, that's like punk rock.
Yeah, but that's not all they have in Crazy Taxi.
I thought that was their whole. I thought that whole band did that whole soundtrack.
Why can't I find the band? Jeez, the Offspring.
The Holophonics?
Jeez.
Oh, the Offspring.
Yeah,
Is
the
it
Offspring.
really who does? Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. Pretty Fly for a White Guy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's
The
crazy.
Offspring did the soundtrack for Crazy Taxi 1 and 2, and Bad Religion did the soundtrack for Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller.
Well, bands can always go outside their norm.
True.
No, they can't.
All right, Corey. Anyways, that's it for our family news. So back to you, Ed.
Woo!
All right, hey, everybody, it's time for Doc Mode. It's time for a hypothetical hard drive Doc Mode this episode. Switch has failed and forced Nintendo to go third party. We know it's just business, but could Nintendo themselves interfere with Xbox, PlayStation, and third-party business if their games outsell various IPs? If Nintendo refuses to do exclusives, how does the conversation look about them as a company? Lastly, if they make enough coins to go back to being first party, would they return and where do they go? So everybody, this is a hard drive, a hypothetical hard drive. And what this is that we're just taking a situation and just hypothetically, if this situation ever happened, how would it look? What are our opinions about it? What do we think about it? So we're going to tackle the first part about it. So Switch has failed and they have went third party. They're putting games out on Xbox, PlayStation, Steam, whatever, is up to it. And then, they're third party, so their games are going against other big third party franchises. What happens if those games outsell some of the biggest names out there in third party? I'm going to start with you, Jacob. What did you think?
Oh, you saw me raise my hand. Hand.
I'm sorry. I was looking at my notes. Go ahead, LeRon. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna make this really easy. Here's the thing about it, and first of all, like hypothetically, rest in peace, Nintendo. Like I'm like despite the reputation I have within the Boss Rush network, like I am not one of those people that would hope that Nintendo like goes down in flames or whatnot. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. The one thing that I always say on practically every show I've been on, whether it's been Nintendo Power Block, my own Crossroads, the Boss Rush podcast, Arsenal X, is the more ways that people can play your games, that's a win for the entire gaming community. So, if it's, for example, like, when we saw this happen when Sega dropped out of the hardware business, the fact that we can now play Sonic games on not just Nintendo, but on Xbox and on PlayStation and on some other platforms that weren't even thought about, like PC, for example, and stuff like that. That's a win. That's a win. We hate when a company bows out of the hardware business. So far, we've only seen in like the entire like 40 years that like video games have been a thing. We've only seen less than 10 companies like get out of the hardware business, but like none of them are as hardcore as like Sega, Nintendo, Sony, and Xbox. None of them are that hardcore. So going back,
I don't know. The Panasonic 3DO was pretty hardcore. Demolition Man, Alien vs Predator. Come on.
I think the Atari Jaguar Alien vs Predator was better, but what do I know?
Because you got all them fancy buttons on your crazy calculator controller.
I did play that one, actually.
I know. I had one.
What? Wait, what?
I had one.
Really?
I had a Jaguar and a 3DO.
I did
not have a 3DO.
not know that.
Yeah.
I did not have a 3DO, but
I got rid of them because they sucked.
But yeah, but I mean, just look at this, and this is what I will say about any of these companies, whether it's Sony, Nintendo, or Microsoft. Like, I feel like Microsoft does the most because like you can practically play you don't have to have an Xbox to play their games. You don't. But all that and Sony's trying to get onto that act also. But all kidding aside, like if all these games that we want to play were practically available on every platform, no matter what, like all of a sudden it will become a thing where gamers are the ones who are winning. Like we're not suffering, with our bank accounts and our pocketbooks and our wallets and all that stuff because we're being split. Having to buy $500 system, $2,500 gaming rig, or $350 like handheld device, and that's not even saying like the Steam Deck, stuff like that, So yeah, Nintendo, I don't feel like they would interfere with Xbox and PlayStation's third party business. I mean, anything they would enrich it. It would enrich it because You know how like our government stimulus, it sent us this money, to basically throw into the economy. Like these games being available on all the other systems throws into the economy of video games as a whole. And so that's literally my take on it. Nintendo like becoming purely a software company, no more hardware, they wouldn't hurt anybody. They wouldn't hurt. People would still go out and buy their Uncharted. People still go out and buy their Forzas and all this stuff. And people will definitely go out and buy their freaking Super Marios, their Metroids, and all that stuff. Now,
but
now
if it's outselling all of that, what happens?
They're not going to put anybody out of business because guess what? Those other companies are still going to make their games.
I mean, those companies are making games for Nintendo consoles, and Nintendo's outselling them on their own console, and they're still making the game on their own console. Yeah. So, in the hypothetical, I don't think there's any way that a single company causes any other game development company to go under or anything like that.
I mean, let's just look at it. Nintendo's already eating everybody's lunch anyway. They already are. Like, like even people who swear up and down they don't own a Nintendo system still says something about Nintendo. Like they still were like, man, I would love to play a Mario game. Man, I would love to play a Fire Emblem game. When's that Advance Wars game coming out?
I think LeRon's the only person that's concerned about Advance Wars at this point.
LeRon is throwing that shade.
All right, that's my rant for this first part.
You said that nobody's putting anybody else out of business. I think the closest we ever got to that was when PlayStation 2 came out and Sega got out of the hardware business, right? Like,
yeah, but that's hardware. Software is a totally different.
No, I know, but I'm just saying the closest we ever got to that was like Sega leaving the hardware business and trying to figure out what their next business move was, right? Because like,
Sega made so many missteps with their hardware. Like and I'm not just talking about the Sega Genesis generation.
No, I'm not talking about. No, the Genesis was the only time they ever succeeded. I think.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, with Genesis. Well, I'm talking about hardware though.
Because, that's what I'm saying.
They had so many spin-offs and peripherals and stuff like that. It gave people whiplash.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the Genesis came out in '89, right? Like 2 or 3 years before the Super Nintendo did.
Yeah, and they were starting to they were literally starting to eat Nintendo's lunch.
They were actually struggling, and then they relaunched it with Sonic the Hedgehog, like a couple months before the Super Nintendo came out, and then they like took off because they're like, Sonic has an attitude. We're the place for blood and adult games and blood, and so they were doing actually pretty good. And then they Sonic and Knuckles, that was a cool kind of thing, right? You could put a game in a game and get a different game, right? That's cool. But then they started doing like the 32X and the Sega CD and the Sega channel, which was really cool, like a Game Pass before Game Pass existed. That was really cool. But like you had all these things and people just became confused because it became like a Voltron console that nobody wanted, right? So
hey, do not talk crap about me because I did own every piece of peripheral for the Sega Genesis.
I do too. I'm not saying that I don't own every single Genesis piece of hardware that you can have. I have a Nomad downstairs, for Christ's sakes. But like then they stealth released the Sega Saturn, right?
That's what doomed them. That's what started it.
Which today, I think if somebody stealth released a console, that'd be super interesting in the internet age. But
yeah,
in an age where you had to actually go to these trade shows and convince retailers to carry your box in their store, and we had to print enough Toys R Us tickets to go to the little man in the hole in the box, right, and to get my game, right? You had to like convince these retailers to, carry your console, and the Saturn failed because nobody wanted to carry this box that nobody ever heard of. Like they didn't have any games. What was the game they had? Sega Rally, okay, nice. A bad port of Tomb Raider. I mean, come on, those PlayStation had been out for a year already before this console came out, right? And so everybody was either buying a PlayStation or they were waiting on Nintendo 64, and nobody wanted this console that nobody ever heard of, right? And so when the Dreamcast came out, they had a lot of ground to make up, which was fine. The Dreamcast was cool. It had a great library of games, but at that point, right before the Dreamcast came out, Sony comes out and announces the PlayStation 2. Most powerful console at that point, had a DVD player in it, had a cool quote-unquote lineup of games that, some of them you wouldn't see for 2 or 3 years after the console came out, but like, the promise of a fully voiced Final Fantasy, new franchises, or a sequel to Metal Gear Solid, which was a big deal. Kingdom Hearts ended up being a big deal. God of War ended up being a big deal. Franchise we still talk about today, PlayStation 2 was promising all that. Which, okay, well, why would I buy the Dreamcast, which does none of this stuff, while I wait on the PS2? I'll just wait till, that console's deeply discounted. I'll burn all my games, which was another terrible feature of the Dreamcast, where all you had to do was put the Bleemcast disc in, and, I could just rip my game off the internet and play it, right? Or put it in a CD burner, rent the game for a Blockbuster, rent it and burn it, right?
Yeah, but the Dreamcast had PSO, so.
I mean, yeah, but
there was so much. There was so much the Dreamcast did right that with the fact that Sega did so much wrong before that. It was just Sega was their own. Well, Sega was their own worst enemy, and it was actually Sega of Japan because the execs from Sega of America, they lobbied them like ideas that analysts now are like, man, in this day and age, those ideas would be platinum, would be like pure, like it would print money, So it's one of those things. So but anyway, circling back to what we're talking about, I don't feel like I don't get the idea that any Nintendo IP would hurt the other third parties, to the point where like everybody would stop making games. I don't feel that way because at the end of the day, there's always something for everybody. Like for everybody that loves Mario Strikers, there's like a legion of people who play FIFA. For everybody that loves like Mario Kart, there are people who play like Need for Speed games or Gran Turismo games and stuff like that. There's always a counterbalance to all this stuff. So if anything, it would just be the more yin and yang. For every Final Fantasy 16 that's on PlayStation and maybe Xbox, I don't know. It depends on what Sony does with Square Enix right now. For every Final Fantasy 16, there's going to be Fire Emblem, there's going to be Legend of Zelda, stuff like that. There's always a counterbalance to this stuff. So Nintendo franchises like hitting like every other console is not going to hurt every other third party. If anything, it will make some of these third parties like sit back and pay attention. Like, oh, we can't just fumble the ball anymore. We can't just like Xerox like the next FIFA game and think it's going to be a hit.
Yeah, I mean, like you look at something like Animal Crossing, and it's sold almost 40 million units on the Switch alone, right? What if Animal Crossing was on every platform right now? You think it would cross 70, 80 million? You think it would be closer to 100 million? You think it would be a GTA style game? I don't know. But like you look at the numbers at some of these games and you're like, okay, well, Mario Kart 8 has sold 44 million units on the Switch now. 8 million on the Wii U. What if you put that game on 2 more consoles or PC, right? How many units would it sell then? Would that game cross 100 million units? I don't know. I don't know. Nintendo going third party is something, Ed, we used to talk about a lot when the Wii U was happening in the very beginnings of this show, right? And we were like, well, I don't think Nintendo would go third party, but if they did, yada, yada, yada. I'm glad we don't have to have those conversations anymore. But if they did go third party, I think they would make big AAA quality games for these consoles, but I think they would still have their handheld consoles, right? I think there would be a successor to the 3DS at this point, just because I think that's where they want to be. I think they want to be in that space where you can play their games wherever you are. And
I definitely feel that too. I feel like they will reactivate their true handhelds and not the hybrid. Like I love the Switch. I do. I love the Switch. But I don't see them 100% dropping out of like hardware altogether. Yeah, and that's the thing about it. I think that's
why it's a hypothetical. Yeah. Just like what if it did?
No. No. Like I feel like they would still hold on to like miniature handhelds.
I'm just erasing that from the whole question. I'm just saying.
Are you saying they would never make another Game & Watch? Like what they do right now for the anniversaries?
They're not making the Switch hurt Nintendo so bad they're not making no hardware at all.
I feel like it's too ingrained in Nintendo's like DNA. Like they would have to do something.
The question is what would it be like? I'm just saying visually from a perspective, saying what
I feel like if you're saying they don't make anything else ever again except for games, I think we'd be looking at like a Sega style Nintendo at this point where like you get, I think that the people we know now who are so important in Nintendo's DNA would all be gone. I think they would all be gone.
Yeah.
I think they'd all be looking to do something else, right?
Yeah.
I think
if they're not just dead and gone.
I think you'd be getting I think we'd be getting decent Mario platformers, but I don't think you'd be getting anything on the level of Galaxy or Odyssey, right? I think we'd be getting Zelda games, but after so long from Nintendo being gone, right? 10, 15, where we're at now, 20 years from the GameCube, right? Like, how many of those people after that console came out would really care about Nintendo the way that we do now, right? I just think those franchises wouldn't mean as much to people as they do to us now, because Nintendo is still putting them on their own consoles, and there's something special and something magical about a Nintendo game on a Nintendo console, and I think that's part of the magic. I think it's part of the charm. You look at the Nintendo 64 and that dumb controller, but for Mario and Ocarina of Time, it worked, right? That controller was built for those games, right? You look at the GameCube, you look at the Wii, right? Wii Sports. How magical is Wii Sports? You're telling me you want to play Wii Sports on the Kinect with your flapping your hand around to bowl the ball? No.
For this hypothetical question, what if that happened?
I'm saying those games would lose the magic that they have because Nintendo does something really unique by integrating what their hardware does in with the software. And so if you're going to put it on, if you're going to put Zelda on Xbox Series X, you better make it at the visual fidelity of Halo or Gears or Assassin's Creed. You better put it up there. You better make that game look like the best
sacrifice.
Yeah, you better make that game look like the best game you've ever seen. Because I think if you're stuck with Breath of the Wild, I would love to see that art style in 4K and 60 frames a second or 120 frames a second with some ray tracing. You've seen those YouTube videos out there with the ray tracing 4K of Breath of the Wild. That game looks amazing. Yeah, I would love that. But also, you look at the Wii U tech demo from 2013, and you see that Zelda, and that would be what I would be expecting from Zelda on an Xbox or PlayStation console, not Breath of the Wild. Sorry, I love Breath of the Wild. I think the art style is great. I would love to see Zelda continue in that direction. But like, if you're going to put Zelda on, you better look up that Wii U tech demo and tell me that you wouldn't want that with ray tracing and shading and huge enemies to fight, right?
Well, was it actually announced as Breath of the Wild? Was it actually announced as Breath of the Wild?
No, it's called The Legend of Zelda Wii U tech demo. It was basically what they were trying to aim to do with the lighting system and dungeon design and enemy design.
Gotcha.
It was never announced as like a full game, but that's what they teased what they could do on the Wii U, and they never did.
They never did, yeah.
Well, Jacob, let me get your answer to the question.
I mean, I kind of agree with LeRon in the sense of like I don't think that they're going to do anything that affects other IPs or third-party businesses at all. It's Corey brings up an interesting point in that I feel like Nintendo's biggest strength is their limitations that they have to play under. And so if you give them the world, I don't know if they do as well as they do currently. But in the hypothetical situation where they do, then I'd say that it'd just be a win for everyone overall to be able to play Nintendo's games at their best quality that they've ever been on any system that they want.
Okay. Well, for me, I think it really would affect Xbox and PlayStation, like their first party and all the third party games, because then the talk about video games come from Nintendo, and it's going to come from what innovations are they placing in their games. If they're outselling Halo, if they're outselling Destiny, if they're outselling Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, if they're outselling all of these games, the whole conversation is going to change. By what has happened for a lot of people, it's going to be like, what has happened to the video game generation that Nintendo has taken charge with their IP now leading? What are other podcasters are going to say about Nintendo? People who don't like Nintendo, like, what are they going to say about video games if Nintendo titles are selling some of your favorite games? You know, it's going to bring a real big conversation. It's going to really change that. Is Nintendo games not only being the leading games from Japan, but just the leading games in video game in the whole video game industry? Because
I just feel like because I get what you're saying. I just feel like you doubt the power of like a pre-established fan base.
But that's why the hypothetical is if it's outselling everything.
Okay.
Regardless,
hold on. Let me rearrange my brain for this. Okay, let's say for example. Okay, I'm gonna go on that same line. Nintendo IPs hit Microsoft and Sony, and all of a sudden, like now they're ripping Halo, Uncharted, God of War. They're ripping the new ones to the point where like those they don't even sell a million copies. Like, I think we would actually see another video game recession or crash happen, because guess what? All the diversity would be gone. It would only be nothing but Nintendo IPs that are popular to the point where like all of a sudden like nothing's gonna sell the way it's supposed to. Like even Nintendo properties would suffer from that. You need the diversity and stuff like that, which is why I was saying earlier you don't discredit the power of the fan bases of all these Forza, of Uncharted, Gran Turismo, like God of War. You don't doubt that. At the same way you don't doubt like the power of like Metroid, Kirby fans, like Fire Emblem fans.
But don't you think some gamers would probably be upset because why is Nintendo selling? They're coming from a hater perspective, I should say, for this hypothetical. If their favorite game is not hitting the sale numbers because Nintendo is overdoing them, do you think that people will be upset? Would people be like surprised? Like,
well, yeah, there would be some surprise and some upset, but at the same time, then gamers have to ask themselves the question: like, do we really like our IPs the way we say we like our IPs? You know,
now that's a good question.
Yeah, because I mean, okay, I mean, let's look at this. You know, shoot, like the world got set on fire when we found out people were playing Metroid Dread on emulators, stuff like that. You know, but here's the question though: were those Metroid fans that were doing that, or were those just other gamers? You know, those are questions you have to ask yourself. You know, like are they fans of the franchise, or are they just some way that's just curious and interesting, or are they someone that is like I'm not going to spend money on this, but I want to play this game. You know, you got to look into all that. So like. For example, so like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 5 comes out, because I'm looking at this, like this is way down the road. Nintendo would be out of business as far as hardware. And God of War, the Son of Osiris, which is like taking place in Egypt, is out now, and stuff like that. And the Breath of the Wild one is just killing it, like. What's wrong with God of War fans? Like hell, this game sells so many units, worldwide, in all these, all these regions and all these territories on all these platforms, PC included. Like what's the problem? What's going on? I don't know. I feel like that question is kind of flawed. Not to be offensive, I feel like it's kind of flawed because I feel like overall, like gamers are going to play games no matter what.
Yeah.
So these games are going to sell their units. Like, and let's look at this. If God of War was available on PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo, it would be selling phenomenal numbers.
So I'm actually more interested in the hypothetical of what. So Nintendo ends up having to give up hardware. The thing that holds their hardware up is their software. And so if they've done bad enough that they have to give up their hardware, I honestly don't see Nintendo continuing to do gangbusters in their software if they come to other systems.
Well, and that's why when we get to that third part of the question, why their sales, they recoup all that money for them to go back into the first. But we're going to get to the second question. If Nintendo refuses to do exclusives, how does the conversation look about them as a company? So they're
Everybody
not doing.
Wait, what?
If Nintendo refuses to do exclusives for systems, everybody loves it. I have never once heard anybody say, "Oh my God, I'm so glad this is only on this one game's console." Like I don't see. I think if Nintendo is like, nope, I don't care that I don't care that Sony's offering us $50 million to have Zelda only on their system. We're releasing it on everything. I think they would be cheered. I think that people would be so incredibly happy that Nintendo is taking a stance against exclusivity. That's
yeah. Jacob literally stole my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally stole my answer.
I really don't have anything to add.
It goes back to what I said when I was answering the first question. Like the more places you have to play your game, the more everybody wins. Like and like look at how pissed off people are that you can only play God of War. Well, up to a certain point, you can only play God of War on PlayStation. Now you can play it on PC.
I know, but look how many people are mad that PlayStation games are coming to PC because they're like, why did I buy this $500 box?
Yeah.
I mean, you're always gonna have that crowd though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and vice versa. Like shit, I'm pissed that Jet Set Radio Future is stuck on an Xbox system. But at the same time, like it's not ruining my gaming fun because like if I really want to play the game, I'm gonna be like, hey Corey, can you mail me your Xbox and let me play this game?
I mean, I could. I have 2 original Xboxes. You can have one and play it if you want.
But what about you, Ed? What do you think in this situation? What do you think the conversation looks like around them?
I think the conversation will probably once again still be positive and everything. I think a lot of people will understand why, and I think it will tell the story that Nintendo is not doing it out of greed or anything, but because they believe that everybody should be able to play games, and so if they're going to put it on this product, it should be available to us. Like LeRon said, it should be available to everybody. They don't get caught up with the money kind of business thing because if something happens or anything, who knows what happened with the exclusive deal and everything. Lastly, if they make enough coins to go back to being first party, would they return and where do they go? So now, go ahead.
Actually, I just thought of something, Ed. Before we get to this one, can we ask one other question, just as a quick poll?
Go ahead.
If Nintendo went exclusive, who do they go to?
They're gonna go to Microsoft.
Corey, LeRon.
I mean, I just think that Sony blood is still fresh for them for some reason, even though it was 25 years ago, right? Like, I just still think there was so much bad blood there and they're so, especially now, they're so chummy with Microsoft for some reason. Like, I kind of feel like Microsoft would spend the money to make a deal with them, especially now, these days, right? And that would be their Japanese presence. And, you know, Microsoft would actually have a foothold in Japan with Nintendo exclusives, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I feel. I think that would be the way to go for them.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, like it's just like not saying that Sony and Nintendo couldn't play nice. I just feel like, you know, like there's so many Nintendo has so many inroads with Microsoft right now, like, you know, like in the real world, that, you know, like it's kind of nonsensical that, you know, as a matter of fact, I would have this funny feeling that, you know, like they're probably wind up doing limited exclusive deals, you know, through Microsoft first before it winds up, you know, like getting to Sony. So it wouldn't be like worldwide release. Certain things would be worldwide releases, but other things would definitely be like the limited run exclusives before like everybody else gets them, you know. And I'm also thinking of PC, like PC would also be. I feel like PC would also be the best vector for them, because like if you look, like indies hit on PC before they hit on consoles. Yeah. And I feel like PC would be the bigger vector. So if anything, I'm thinking maybe, but then again, that's Microsoft's infrastructure as well. If we're being honest, I mean, nobody games on a Mac, you know.
Yeah.
Whoa, somebody does.
Who's still playing The Sims 3? Tell me right now in the chat. Who's still playing The Sims 3 right now in the chat on a Mac?
I mean, I'm not playing The Sims 3, but
or Spore.
I'm playing Roller Coaster Tycoon.
That's the last.
Yeah.
Spore's the last time I saw a game in physical format available for Mac.
Wow.
Hey, man, I like my Mac. Okay.
Your Mac is a wonderful production machine. It is.
I know. It's also it also plays Roller Coaster Tycoon very well.
Hold on, we're not going to get into tech talk with LeRon tonight. That we say that for Crossroads and Boss Rush podcast.
Oh God.
Wow. Well.
Okay. Sorry, Ed. Go ahead.
No, so they made enough money so they could go back to first party. Would they return, and where do they go? Corey, I'm gonna go with you first.
I mean, I think they would definitely start out with the handheld gaming, right? Especially if you look at their market share in Japan, and like the Switch Lite is almost outselling the normal Switch over there, right? And just the way that mobile games are, I think they would definitely go handheld and mobile first. And then I think if their handheld market did well, I think they would experiment in returning to home console. But handheld gaming is their bread and butter. It has been since the 80s, right? It's that's just where they thrive, you know, and that's where they would return.
Okay, Jacob.
So Nintendo is very rarely a company that takes risks, which makes me think that if they were to end up in a situation where their hardware, they had to bow out of the hardware system, and then suddenly their software sales as a third-party company gets them enough money that they could financially buy themselves back into the hardware game, I think they wouldn't. I think they would just continue with software.
Okay, LeRon.
Ooh, Jacob like brought the fire with that one, man. I feel like Nintendo would play safe, and they would definitely get back into the handheld business. Shoot, I mean, if you look at it, there's a reason why these things are still popular. There's a reason why. So
jealous. I'm so jealous.
Oh, the Monster Hunter edition one.
I love that one. I love that design and everything. Sorry, bro.
I love the color. The color is what actually got me. Yeah. But anyway, they would play it safe. They would play it safe. As a matter of fact, we'd probably honestly, if they got back into it, we'd probably see like a dumbed down version of the Switch. And when I say dumbed down, I don't mean like you know, like it's inferior to the current Switch. It would be one that would be a little bit concurrent with whatever technology is, you know, at the time, But at the same time, they would play it safe. They play it safe. They would take the they would definitely do things a little bit differently from a marketing perspective with the Switch than they have done now. Like, because I'll be honest with you, if you look at some of the stuff in the past 5 years that's gone on the Switch, there's been a lot of successes, but there's also been a lot of misses too. But every company makes that mistake. Look at Microsoft and their DRM thing that just hit everybody over the heads this weekend. Sony and like their PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now debacle. Everybody makes these mistakes and things like that. I feel like Sony would not Sony. I feel like Nintendo would definitely come back into the major handheld market, and they would also probably embrace mobile gaming on phones and tablets a little bit more too. I honestly feel like Nintendo, like if you sit down in the high school cafeteria and you think about it, like Microsoft is definitely the popular crowd, Sony is the cool kids, and Nintendo, they're like the nerds that sit back there and they just watch everybody and they figure out how. Oh, they're like, you peaked in high school. We're gonna peak way after college.
For me, I think they definitely would get back into it. I think right with them, definitely with learning all the engines, like learning Unreal Engine 5, of course, their own custom engines, being able to do different graphics. I think they will see, I'm like, okay, we made these games for the other consoles. We learned their tech. We learn how things, what engines and stuff, what run. We got enough money to get parts and once again still make it cost effective where we're making money off of the sale of our hardware. Nintendo will be sneaky and sly. They'll be like, okay, we could get them custom made. We got the experience. So now that we know what we did on those other consoles and what would sell and what would work, we're back to being a first party console, putting our own titles back onto our systems. Will we go out and put something else on other consoles? We'll see how business goes from there, because I think that's when we get a new Switch or we get a new innovative piece of hardware that they want to go to, that they want to do for their games. So I think they would definitely get back into the hardware, and where they will go is that they're going to look at different products that that would help them be able to achieve what they learn and still do it cost effective, and everything. And still bring out some nice looking games, some animated, or still give it that Nintendo quality of it and everything. And I think that would be exciting to see what would happen. So, any final words, anybody?
Nope.
I'm glad the Switch exists, and I love it. That's my final word to you, Ed.
I think Nintendo would still be successful, even if they were to bow out of the actual hardware industry completely. They would still be successful, and but I also stand behind what I say. Like gamers would win. Gamers would win because there would definitely be more places to play first party Nintendo titles. And honestly, I remember the days working back at GameStop, and I guarantee you remember those days working at Toys R Us when people would come in and be like, "Is Super Mario 3 on PlayStation?"
No, ma'am. The whole Nintendo section is right over here.
Exactly.
So, Jacob, any final words?
Yeah. In regards to Nintendo going exclusive, y'all are all wrong. They're gonna pull a Nintendo and do the thing that no one expects and go exclusively to mobile.
Oh, wow.
Well, that was their plan with the Wii U, right? So
yeah.
By the way, time out. Before we move to playing with power, the Wii U's Miiverse social media platform was awesome, and they shut it down, and they should have just moved it to Switch.
Yes,
that's all I'm saying. It would be such a killer idea on Switch.
Can I?
No.
Can I say something?
Move it on.
Okay.
Now, what do you?
What? Yes, LeRon. Go ahead.
No, moving on. You
yeah.
No, go ahead, LeRon. No, I want to hear her. Go ahead.
I never got behind the whole me stuff. I never got behind it. You know, and it's funny too because of me's we have like bitmojis and all that stuff. I get it, but I just never got behind it. Uh, you know, uh,
I mean, it wasn't so much about the Mii's. It was more about like helping people solve puzzles and games. It's kind of like the PlayStation 5 cards, right? That like give you tips and
yeah,
stuff. It was
yeah.
it was more like that, but other people could chime in and leave pictures and drawings and screenshots and maps and stuff to help other players in game. It was a really cool feature, but like the Wii U wasn't popular enough for it to take off the right way, so I don't know.
Well, thank you, Elite Block Agents, for this conversation. Hope you guys did enjoy this hypothetical hard drive dock mode. Very great conversations. Now it's time for Play with Power. LeRon, what have you been playing with Power?
Monster Hunter.
Actually, no Monster Hunter. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me and Monster Hunter right now. I guarantee you, I'll be back on Monster Hunter after tomorrow's after tomorrow's Monster Hunter event.
What time is it?
It is tomorrow morning at I want to say it's 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock my time. Yeah.
So 12 o'clock.
Yep, the Monster Hunter digital event, the Monster Hunter Sunbreak digital event. Yep. But what I have been playing is Final Fantasy VII remake, the integrated edition. I've been playing it on PC, and man,
Ooh.
yeah, it's fun. And the funny thing is, either my memory's bad or like they added stuff into the beginning of the game as part of the integrated edition, because like there's certain parts about it that I don't remember, and I'm like, I know I played this because I was definitely much further than I am right now. Yeah, like I'm having a blast, and I am playing it on PC, so yeah, I have like done some things to like fix the game. Like I've got to like full like 1440p resolution and all that stuff, because there was a thing in the actual PC version where you couldn't make any adjustments to settings, so you couldn't play 1440p or 4K or whatnot because you were locked by the hardware limitations. But I was able to. I found a tool that was able to help me do all that. Plus, like doing an ultra wide screen, so 21.9 aspect ratio and all that stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So yeah. That's what I did. That as a matter of fact, that's the only bit of gaming I did over the weekend. As a matter of fact, that droll, dreary weekend that I had. That was the major thing. Like other than that, like I've been giving my Vita and my 3DS some love, but just been tinkering with those things, if you know what I mean.
I'm still upset and laughing at finding that house in Final Fantasy Remake in that tournament. That was nonsense. What about you, Corey? What have you been playing with Power?
I really haven't been playing much. I've been playing Super Mario 3D World. Still trying to 100% it. I'm almost there. I've been playing some Assassin's Creed Odyssey. For some reason, getting back into there. It's just like a really nice comfort game for me. But I have also been playing Fortnite. I bought a few skins. I bought the Wanda skin from Doctor Strange or Marvel, MCU, whatever they're trying to do with it these days. And I bought the Rey skin, the Star Wars Rey skin. And I've been having some fun with that. I've been playing the no build mode, and it's fun. I am terrible at that game on Switch because, well, you try playing a shooter with the Joy-Cons, but it's fun. I was enjoying it, and I don't know how much more I'm going to play it, but it's been fun for a little bit. So, yeah, that's kind of all I've been playing. Nothing new to report. I'm kind of in a gaming slump, kind of like trying to figure out what my next big game is going to be, and I just can't find it right now.
Yeah, well, I know Xenoblade I need to start, so I get ready for 3. Right. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, so speaking of Xenoblade, I've been playing a lot of Xenoblade Chronicles DE. I just got to story-wise, I'm going to totally get their names wrong, but I think it's this kid named Juju and this girl, his like older sister named Sophia or Sophie or something. I don't know. It's probably not that at all, but that's where I am. I've been mostly concerned with just like running around, exploring the world, doing side quests. I also have been doing daily Ring Fit Adventure, and posting about it on my TikTok, where I've got almost 350 followers. So that's really cool. That's been rising very rapidly. Yeah.
I need to sneak back into my boyfriend's house and steal his.
You should. It's a lot of fun.
His
man.
TikTok?
It's really silly. His TikTok, yeah. No, Ring Fit. It's really silly and just adorable, and it's kept me motivated. This is day 38, I believe, of doing it every single day. So that's been a lot of fun. And then playing Switch Sports. Every time I say the name, I start by saying Wii Sports, and then I'm like, Switch. But yeah, I've been playing Switch Sports daily to make sure that I can get all of the unlockables unlocked. I usually just do one a day for each of the cards, and then I call it.
They should have just called it Wii Sports Switch.
That would have been Wii Sports U Switch.
But they would have like captured the nostalgia, but also saying, hey, this is a new console, but we know how much you like Wii Sports.
Yeah, for sure.
Or they could have done. They could have said Wii Sports 4 Switch, since this is technically the fourth one.
It's true. And a little bit of Jedi Fallen Order. I picked that up on Steam for $10, and nice. I've been playing that for just a little bit, just kind of like 10, 20 minutes here and there.
Game's so good.
Yeah, mostly Xenoblade. What about you, Ed?
So, played a little bit more Streets of Rage 4, just, fooling around. I re-downloaded Graceful Explosion Machine, and since I transferred the data from my old Switch to my OLED, the data kind of got corrupted or missed, so I had to restart the whole game from scratch. Because I beat it already, but I just been in an arcade kind of feel of just doing like kind of shooting them up combo stuff. So I've been playing that, playing the Japanese version of Contra, and then started playing not hardcore. Started playing Contra 3 for fun for the Super Nintendo version. Just was enjoying that. Was like having real fun with that. Tetris Effect Connected. Man, I love this game. It's so zen, and it's been 3.5 hours. Why am I still playing this game? It's really, really good. Street Fighter Alpha 3, I've been also playing, and Street Fighter Third Strike I've been playing. Last but not least, been playing 8 Doors, Rumors Afterlife Adventure. Just making progress in this indie Metroidvania game. So that's pretty much all I've been playing. And I started Life is Strange 2. So I am going through that game, and it's really cool. I can see Don't Nod's hands all over this. So that's what I've been playing with Power. And with that, everybody, that's going to be it for Nintendo Power Block. I want to thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, LeRon, for joining me on this episode. Jacob, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Galutrad. That's Galutrad. And go follow me on TikTok. I'm trying to hit 1,000 followers. And like I said, I'm almost at 350, which has been like about 100 every 10 days that I've been getting. So hopefully we'll get there soon.
Nice. Well, with that new hair, you're going to get all the followers. Just do that.
Corey, where can we find you?
You can find me at I am Corey HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush Podcast, Standard Definition, and a plethora of other content here on the Boss Rush Network. Oh, side note. By the time you hear this on podcast feeds, the Elite Block Agent shirts should be approved for the store, and also the 300 merch is up, so check that out.
Yes. LeRon, where can we find you?
Okay, you can find me on all social media at Exodus803. There's also my Twitch and YouTube channels. Don't forget that. Also Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Crossroads Gamecast for Boss Rush Network, which includes consoles, PlayStation, PC, as well as Xbox. So yeah, good time for that, and always Boss Rush Podcast. Whoops, tongue, slip of the tongue there. And Boss Rush After Dark.
All right. And you guys can find me on Twitter and at Instagram at that virtual code. You can check out Optional Opinion on SoundCloud. You can also check more of Nintendo Power Block Mondays, that when we go live, and Wednesdays on our YouTube channel and on your podcast service of choice. Everybody, we are on the road to 300. We got 6 more episodes till we get there. And if you guys want to actually look at our shirts, kind of for all of Boss Rush, you can go to redbubble.com/people/BossRushGames/shop and actually check out all the things that we have. Or just go to bossrush.net and click on the store, and it will take you there to show you all the things that we have up there that you guys can order. It's really cool. Great shop. Really great things. Help support Boss Rush. And also, guys, you can become a Patreon supporter also, and a producer. And you can go to bossrush.net for that information also. But then, everybody, have a great week, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Power Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Goodbye.
Have a good one.
Bye.